Hello, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another Saturday. We get to come together. I am so excited today because you're here, and I know that we're going to have an amazing time today talking about goals. At the start of every year, we all write goals and we're all thinking about how we can achieve it. So it's a good time to think about goals, right? My name is Tina, and as usual, I'll be your host today. But just to recap, Masterpiece conversations are focused on having conversations that helps us to think about what we see in our everyday lives, from our careers, from our normal lives to our health, everything that will make us, grow and develop and become all that we want to be. And guess what? Today we have someone who has a similar vision, just like we do here at Masterpiece. So if you're joining, just say hello to us. We want to acknowledge you from any part of the world. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining from. And we are going to have an amazing time. So let me tell you a bit about Sylvia. Sylvia is joining me today on our conversation, and she lives in Connecticut, right? And she is the CEO of Emerge You, or You Emerge. And she is a certified life and leadership coach as well. She has been in different industries. So if you're here, like how we are on Masterpiece Career Minded, then this is a good person to tune in and listen because she's been there, done that, and she has, some strategies and things that she can share with us today that will help our goals that we are setting for 2024 be more realistic and measurable. So let's get started and let's welcome, if you're here, just welcome Sylvia by showing her some love, put some comments. Amasafo says hello, Sylvia.
Hey, okay.
Good to see ya. So we are so excited to have you, Sylvia. I know that you've done a lot of these. So I came with my book and my pen ready to learn something for my goals this year. So welcome to Masterpiece
Thank you.
Conversations. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to
Yeah.
be here. I'm really excited about this topic too because it's a topic that is actually also dear to my heart because goals are a way for us to really get on the right track in anything. And it crosses different spectrums, career wise,
Mm,
education wise, personal wise. So even as a parent,
yeah.
so this is a pretty good topic.
Yeah. So Sylvia, I tried to introduce you. I did. I tried my best. But I think that people want to hear from you yourself, like Sylvia in her own words, because this woman looks all made up and it's like, okay, we don't feel like we measure up that much when we are looking at Sylvia today. But who is
Whoa.
Sylvia in her own words? Like I said, Lady Sylvia, she's like, no.
Oh my God, that's funny. You know what? Hi guys, my name is Sylvia Oforibuedu. Been married for 19 years, mother of three.
Wow.
Very passionate about any and everything developmental related. As in
Mm,
developing your mind, developing your spiritual growth, developing your relationships, developing your physical abilities. I'm a certified, like Tina had said, I'm a certified life and leadership coach. I'm the founder of You Marriage Motivations, which is a nonprofit, and I'm also the founder of You Marriage Coaching LLC, which is a coaching and consulting, leadership consulting business that I have. Like she had said, I've worked in various industries. My background is actually architecture, and then I'm in supply chain.
wow.
So, mention the industry, I've been in it. All right. But my biggest pet peeve is seeing people not live to their fullest potential. I
Mm,
feel every single person has something to offer, something to offer. That's key for me. Number two is kindness is really free, so it really doesn't take that much to be kind. So I'm a big advocate of these two. So if you
wow.
want Sylvia in a nutshell, she's saying I look all made up, everything is perfect, but listen, it's far from it. Sometimes when you see someone that you think has everything together, you need to hear their story because there's an in between before where they got to, right? And that's me.
Mm,
The beginning, the middle, the end. I'm still not at the end. I'm still growing. I'm still thriving.
mm.
So I'm a work in progress. So never think that I'm all perfect at all. Far from it. So that's
Oh, wow.
in a nutshell.
Amazing. So we are joining the club of, we are in, we are masterpieces in the making. Yeah. And we get to be masterpieces and at the same time work in progress. So join the club. Join the
I'm
club.
an imperfectly perfect individual.
I love that. I
Yes.
love that. Well, welcome to, I see Irama, you're on there. I see Rue joining as well. You're all welcome. If you join, can you say hello to us? Sylvia wants to acknowledge you as well. And I want to
Hi
do that this
guys.
evening. So make sure you're saying hello to us. But like Sylvia said, she is on her journey. We are all on our journey. And this year we are all excited because it's 2024. It looks like we have a new, clean sheet to do something amazing. And so all of us are thinking about goals, and some of us already have our goals. But today we want to focus a little bit more on Helena, welcome. And today we want to focus a little bit more on how do we make our goals realistic? Because I think there is a whole lot of buzz around goals and goals and goals. But how do we make them realistic? Because at the end of the day, if they are realistic, it helps us to do something. If they're not, it also makes us not do certain things. That's going to be our focus today. So when you talk about, or when you hear, as a consultant, as a coach, when you hear about realistic versus unrealistic goals, what comes to mind for you?
I'm all about, when it comes to goals, right? I'm all about simplicity
Mm,
because sometimes and there's nothing wrong with having big goals, right? But you need to put it in bite-sized pieces in order for you to be able to achieve it and then celebrate the little wins along the way. If you're cooking, right, you
yeah.
don't just start with the end product. You first need a frying pan, you need oil,
Mhm.
you need all these ingredients. These are the little pieces that along the way would make the great meal. So
Mm.
when it comes to goals and setting realistic goals, I mean, a lot of clients would, they want the big picture,
The
and
big one.
it's good, right, to have the big picture. But after you get the big picture, now you have to sit and kind of like break it down.
Mm.
And that's where a lot of people sometimes fall short because they're still trying to attain that big one. But when you start small, realistically, you would realize that you've hit the big one and you're like, oh, I actually hit the big one. So it's less of a painful process because it's like running a marathon. Oh my God, when am I going to get there? But
Mhm.
if you're thinking of the end, you're not going to get there. It will be a lot harder for you to get there. So just taking it one step at a time,
Yeah.
just put one foot forward. That's
Mhm.
it. As long as you're not staying in the same place, you're moving. That for me, is all about realistic.
Sylvia, I don't know about you. I don't know if you're from Ghana or not.
Yes, yes.
You don't look like you're from Ghana, but I come from Ghana, right? And a lot of us, a lot of us as immigrants as well, we come here with a lot of ambitions and a lot
Mhm.
of big goals and dreams. So sometimes when you say chunk it out to small size bites, we struggle with it because we want to have it all. We want to start from the top and end at the top. So this year we are looking at all these goals that we are setting. And it's good to have the big audacious goals that we want to have. But then breaking it out to realistic simple goals. Let's take an example, maybe.
Mhm.
Maybe I want to lose weight.
Right.
I'm hitting 200 pounds now. And I'm like, no, I have to do something. By the end of the year, I should be at 170. Whew, that's going to be amazing.
Amen to that.
That's going to be amazing. But my goal is 170, and that's what I'm looking at. And that's what I'm focused on.
Hmm.
But the in between these 30 pounds that no matter how much I cut down my food, I still feel like I'm still there. How do I get there? Let's take this example. Let's work it out.
You see, people like instant gratification, right? And I'm an immigrant too.
Mm,
I came here for college and everything. I'm an immigrant too. But yes, we want those audacious goals. Yes,
right.
we want to attain a certain level in society, in our lives, with our families, finances, and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But being realistic really is so simple that you tend not to do it because in your
Mm,
mind it has to be big. So
right.
simplicity seems very foreign, but that's where you start from. So let's say you want to lose 30 pounds within the year, right?
Yeah.
My question would be, that's even the wrong way to say it, right?
Mm,
Start with, I want to be healthy. I want a healthy lifestyle. So
mm,
it doesn't put the pressure on you as an individual to try to lose the weight that you want to lose, because a healthy lifestyle, in effect, would actually get you to that point that of the weight that you want to lose. So right off the bat, you just have to say it well. Your words, right? How you say it, how you phrase it, how you shape it is what will help you say, okay, I can do it. Takes the pressure off of you, So instead of saying I'm going to lose 30 pounds by the end of the year, I'm going to develop a healthy lifestyle. And that healthy
mm.
lifestyle could be a myriad of things. It could be going to the gym, it could be eating right, it could be reading books, it could be sleeping well. Now, drinking water, all these things, right, would actually legit help you to lose weight.
Amazing.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it really starts from how you phrase it. And I tell people all the time, sometimes I say, it's your delivery that will let someone listen to you or not listen to you. In the same way, your delivery of what your goal is, right? We're gung ho. Look, I've been there before. Maybe 2 years ago, right? I had gained like COVID time. Ooh, I gained the COVID
Ooh.
pounds. Let me tell you something. And I wanted to lose that weight. And I was like, Justice, you know what? Let's go to the gym. He signed me up for the gym. I went with him religiously for a good 3 weeks. Never stepped foot in that gym ever again,
Oh boy.
because it's not me. But I was so hell bent on, okay, I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to lose the weight. But then I had to take a step back, because when I'm working with clients, it's also me working on me, right?
Right.
So I take nuggets. You can't be a coach and think that you know it all,
No.
right? So
No.
when I'm working with clients, I'm also taking feedback from them,
Mm,
and I'm also learning from clients at the same time as pouring into them. So there's something that is called SMART, right? The SMART process. And
mhm,
that's what I used for me, right?
mhm.
And that was what allowed me to be able to, okay, full disclosure, I still have 5 more pounds. Okay. My husband reminded me that, oh, I think you have 5 more pounds, right? I'm like, yes, we'll get there. No worries. But full disclosure, I was able to lose at least 15, and I
Wow.
have 5 more left, but I'm not even stressing about the 5. So let me tell you how I actually manage, and the SMART process, right,
Mhm.
can work in every spectrum.
Right.
It can work in business. It can work in schooling. It can work in your personal life. It can work in losing weight. So SMART, SMART, right?
Right.
If you listen to me, just type it in SMART,
Right.
SMART, right? Hashtag SMART. Now,
Mm,
SMART, the S is for specific.
right.
Be specific about what you're trying to do, the goal. Be specific about
Mm,
the goal. That's the S. The M is measurable,
right.
right? The M is measurable. You need to come up with something that you can measure.
Mm,
If you're able to measure it, guess what? You can allow yourself the grace to celebrate the little wins that you have or may have, right?
wow.
The A
Wow.
is for achievable, right?
Mhm.
Guess what? In any and everything that you set out to do, you have to be realistic. It has to be something that is achievable, right? Something that you can really achieve. And then the R is for realistic.
Okay.
You know, if you're a small business, right, and you want to hit, say, you just started within a year, and not that it's not possible,
Mm.
right? And you're like, okay, my first year I'm going to hit 10 million. Well, honey, yeah, you got to pay. You will get there. I'm not saying you're
We'll
not going
get
to get
there.
there. You will get there, right? But you have to set realistic goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the T in SMART is for timing, right? So
Mm.
I really legit use that on me,
Wow.
right? For trying to lose the weight. So I
Mm.
said, I need to lose 20 pounds within that year, right? So that is me being specific, right?
Wow.
My specific was I need to lose weight, right? But I learned that you don't say I need to lose weight. You need to say I need to have a healthy lifestyle. Now I found this out after the fact when I was done. But when I was doing it, I was gung ho. I'm going to lose weight. I need to lose 20 pounds.
Right.
This is me. But your specific would be, I need to lose weight. For us now, right, with a renewed mindset, is going to be, I need to change and become get onto a healthy lifestyle, right?
Right.
So then my measurable became, I want to lose 20 pounds within that year. I want to
Wow.
lose 20 pounds within that year. That's how I went about it. Now,
Yes.
when it came to that, right, the
Mm-hmm.
next one, which was the achieving, that was where I struggled a lot, because that was where I was being an overachiever, meaning I'm going to the gym, I'm going to do this, just to sign me up for the gym, and I'm going to start, get out. I said I was even going to get a nutritionist. I
Oh,
don't even
goodness.
have that much time in the day for myself. But I had all these big plans and all these big goals, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we need that just to make ourselves feel good, right?
Right.
But
Right.
that's when we step down to realistic, okay, which is the R. And I was
Mm.
like, okay, you know what? This is not going to work. Let's try and do this R thing here, So for R, I'm like, okay, I'm not a gym person. That's not going to work. I'm an avid swimmer, right? I was on the swim team
Mm.
in college, but black people in our hair and stuff like that. So I kind of quit swimming. But that's my go-to if I need to lose weight or I need to get healthy.
Oh,
My go-to
goodness.
is swimming, right?
Mm.
I don't even have that kind of time in the day. So I was like, okay. I was talking to my sister-in-law. She was like, maybe walk around the neighborhood, you know,
Mm.
30 minutes of walking.
Mm.
Not bad. So then I was like, okay, let me set this realistic goal. 3 times a week, I was walking in my neighborhood a minimum of 30 minutes. Then the other two, I found YouTube videos, 25 minutes, 20 minutes, 30-minute YouTube. I actually even found a 15-minute YouTube video,
Wow.
exercise. I did it at home. See, sometimes you need to know yourself
Yeah.
and be realistic about the kind of things that you can
Yeah.
or cannot do. And I think that is where I had to hone in on, okay, you know what, be honest. You can't go to the gym. Be honest. You can't do it this way. And I also had an accountability partner, which was my husband, right? Where he goes to the gym, but on days where I'm walking, he was like, okay, can you time it such that it's my lunchtime as well? Because we're both working from home. So lunchtime, he'll walk with me for
Mm.
that 30 minutes that I'm walking. Or when I have to go to the basement, so you also need an accountability partner, as well, on this journey. And then the T was timeline. You know, Sometimes when I first started, I'm going to be honest, I was standing on the scale like actually twice a day. I was standing on it in the morning and in the evening. Like really, it's not really realistic to do. That was what I was doing. But that's not realistic anyway. So I had to pace myself. Okay, you know what? Let me just do this every 2 weeks. I'll stand on the scale and then see where I'm at. And that made it less daunting for me as an individual, because if I'm standing on it every day and the numbers will change, then I'm like, okay, why am I even bothering doing this?
Right.
When you're trying to set goals, I think, and I have friends who have said, listen, I'm not someone who would set goals, like it's just too much. But setting goals really is just giving yourself a roadmap. you
Mm.
know, if you're going somewhere, you need directions. Not unless you've been there so many times. But if you're setting a goal, it means that there's something that you need to attain. You
Right.
know, just write it down. It says write the vision and make it plain, right? In Habakkuk. So even we're told to write the vision and make it plain.
Mm-hmm.
So based off of that, just do and everyone is different.
Mm.
Everyone's pace is different. So you can't really look at somebody else's goal setting or somebody else's journey and say, this is
Wow.
how I'm going to go about mine. Come on. So really and truly, I think if you incorporate smart in any goal setting, it would give you a good roadmap. And you also, the key for me is being realistic. you
Yeah.
know the key for me is being realistic. For me, that's how I went about it.
Amazing. I love the fact that you gave that personal, journey through using the SMART, acronym to work on something. So same with money. I want to save X amount of dollars, right? or I want to be able to stop using my credit cards. So this year, I'm going to really, table my credit cards a bit. Well, how do I do it? You know,
Right.
I think these are like the smart goals. The way to set smart goals are the key. If we can just imbibe them into the daily things that we are doing, I think that will give us a different perspective. But there's some I think Isaac said something. He said he has a problem with the T and the time and
Hmm.
not patient at all because he wants to lose all the weight now. And I think we should go there a bit. The
Hmm.
time. Because everything good takes time.
Ooh.
And I know that it's like a cliche, but it's true. We cannot get our nice soup or stew in a minute. It's not
You
that.
see how long it takes to cook Ghanaian food?
Yeah,
Okay, Ghanaian food is really good, but it takes a while.
it takes a
You can be
while.
slaving in the kitchen.
Yeah, so it takes a while. But we have this mind of a fast food joint where we think once we put in our order from this side, by the time we go to the other door or the window, we should have our food ready. And it's not going to be that way, especially if you haven't developed the habit. So I will recommend our book of the month, this month that we're reading, for those of you who were here last week, is a book by John Maxwell called Success is a Choice. Okay.
Mm.
And it's a really good book to read. You have to read it because it will give you a lot of the interesting, roadmap, cues that you need as you're thinking about the year. Another book that we've read in the past is Atomic Habits,
Oh
because
yeah.
what we are doing here is to almost like in the midst of setting the goals, creating habits that would follow the goals, right? Like a
Yes.
roadmap thing. So how do we address the T person who is like, I don't have the time. I want it to be today. So if it didn't work 3 weeks after I started eating healthy, I'm done.
Then again, like you said, right, it's a choice. So
It's a
then the question becomes, how bad do you want to lose the weight?
mm,
Right? So
yeah.
really, it's a choice. As long as you have an out and it's
Mm,
not your
mm,
priority, you will
mm,
make certain excuses.
yeah.
Because tell you what, knock on wood, but if you had gone to the doctor's office and the doctor said, lose this amount of weight, else it will be detrimental to your health, trust me, you will lose that weight. So really,
Mm,
it's a choice, and because it's a choice and it's self-control. Because you know that, hey, I have an out. It's not like I'm dying or it's not like anything is happening to me. You
yeah.
make excuses. Okay, I tried, So again, that book by John C. Maxwell is a good one to actually read.
Yeah.
It's not just success that's a choice, it's
Mm,
everyday life,
right.
every
Yeah.
decision that we take.
Mm,
I heard what's his name? Apostle Joshua Selman said, even poverty is a choice.
it is a choice.
So really everything is a choice.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting there, you're choosing not to get there. Because if your back was against the wall, trust me, you will
You,
move differently. So that's what I have to say to Isaac Nanakwame Adai.
wow. So Isaac, you have it right there. And for some of us, we didn't ask the question, but Isaac asked it for us. And we are saying, well, we tried it last year. We didn't, whatever. How desperate do you want this? And do we want to get to that place of, being told like this is life and death before we change our mindset? So yeah, last week when we had our conversation on leveraging the new year for good, we talked about mindset and how that helps us even in the new year to be successful, because if you don't change your mind and you come in with the same mindset, we're not going to be able to do it. But you did say something about your journey and having accountability partners.
Yeah.
That is a challenge for a lot of us because we don't want to tell someone our goals. We don't, we protect it. We don't want to make it so visible. Like, yeah, maybe they'll do something about it or whatever it is. We have a setting mind about it. So, how do we go about breaking that cycle of thought in our mind and really harnessing the power of accountable people in our lives that at least check on us to see how we are doing, because it's a great thing to have people like that.
So I always say we're better together, right?
Yeah,
We're better together. Now,
yeah.
if you're having a hard time, getting an accountability partner because you're scared that someone is going to take your ideas or stuff like that, then it means you need to check your relationships.
Mm.
right? Because if you don't have people around you that you can trust 100%, then that's a problem, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Now, growing up, my dad always taught me that you don't need a lot of friends. You can have a lot of acquaintances, yes, but your friends, he said, should be no more than the fingers on one hand.
Wow.
For me, I have three people, right, that are my go-to people where I'm bare before them,
Mm.
right? And they're not gonna judge me. And even if they're saying something that I don't like, I receive it because I know it's coming out of a place of love, right? I can
Mm.
tell them what my goals are. They will challenge me. And even outside of challenging me, they'll actually, when they challenge, they'll give an idea. I got certified because my friend said, you doing this is great. You're good at it. Add certification to it. And she found me the classes that I can take to get certified.
Wow.
So it depends on who you have around you. And that's key. So who you have around you would not let you question having an accountability partner. So it means that you would not be threatened by them, and they would also not be threatened by you. You know,
Mm.
your success fuels them, you know, and their success also fuels you. You know, competition is not bad. Healthy competition,
Healthy
you know, it's not
competition.
bad. So you're pushing each other. So if you're, you know, I don't know if I need to tell this, then the people around you are not the right people.
Mm.
That's what I would tell you, you know.
Mm.
But everyone needs someone. So in that instance, then get you a business coach,
Right.
right? Get you a business coach because a business coach has no skin in the game whereby your success is concerned. Their job is to help you get to the goal that you're setting for yourself. You know, even if it's losing weight, then get a nutritionist or get a personal trainer, you know, who would also hold you accountable. But when it comes to the people around you, you need to make sure that you have the right people around you that can help lift you.
I love that. And I love the fact that you said we are better together because a lot of the challenges, someone has gone through it. Someone has been there. Someone
Yep.
has missed it. Someone is learning and someone has something that can, help you with what you're going through for this year or what you're trying to achieve this year. There's always someone who has done it. So that is such a great thing. I love it. Dr. V is an accountability partner. And she's been great at just, coming up with ideas. Sometimes it's amazing what you can get from someone who you can trust, in that
Right.
process.
You know,
Yeah.
and don't be scared. Sometimes, and I don't know if this is an African thing or not. I don't. But a lot of times we feel like someone who is young cannot pour into us.
Mm.
If I'm older than the person, that person can't. That is such a bold-faced lie. Like
Yeah.
that I've ever seen. Sometimes it is the young people that can, much as you as an adult have experienced a lot of stuff, can pour
Okay.
into them. They are coming from a different perspective with fresh outlook on certain things that they can
Mhm.
also, if you take the time, you will get some key things from them. You know, so we shouldn't be quick to shut it down when, the person is young. I have
Mhm.
young people that, I'm like, okay, you know, you're saying something. I'm going to stop and I'm going to listen to what you're saying. I don't have to take it, but I'll take it into account and it would help shape the final decision that I make.
Wow. Wow. That is so good. Asking, just being open minded,
Yes.
it's such a blessing because anyone can teach you something.
Hmm.
Including the people you don't like. They're
Yes.
all teaching you something,
Yeah.
you know? And that is so, so important because sometimes we feel like we are the only people who know and we are the only people who can, do something. And it's not so true because other people can do it as well. But
Yeah. If
as
you
you're
think you
talking,
know it all, you close yourself from being poured into.
mm, yeah, yeah. So if we were to make our goals, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have goals. So hi, Gifty, open-mindedness. I love that. You know, just being open. Maybe some of us, our goal for this year is just being open-minded, just being
Mhm.
open-minded. Because I have realized I've missed out on a lot of things because of how I've thought, in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the goals I have, I was telling the kids this morning, I'm like, oh, I'm going for this community event next Saturday. And I was like, oh, it's going to be with the council members. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I should have done that long ago. But,
Right.
for some reason, it was like, oh, just in your own bubble and all that. And it just didn't help my growth at all. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
have realized that. And I'm making the, little steps to be able to get myself involved. Because if really we are supposed to be the light, then we should be able to shine, not just in a
Yeah.
small corner, but, you know, for other people to also see it. But let's come back to as we are looking at realistic goals.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, a lot of us have written out our goals this year, and we thought, like I was saying, lose weight. We thought that is the best way to write it. I'm going to lose the weight. And now here you are, you're saying even how you write your um Dr. B. Dr. B, I'm going to have to read it because she's making me laugh about it. She said, Ghanaians are always worried about the riches in the
You're right. You're right. You're right.
village. you know, but we've written our goals, but maybe we haven't written it out well. That would help us to even get to that smartness of the goal. So let's take a few goals and look at how we can frame them, and maybe we take one from every category of goals wheel, if you
Okay.
like, and,
Mm-hmm.
and look at it. So we talked about health, right, or maybe healthy living, and we said we can frame a goal that says that we want to have or develop a healthy lifestyle for
Yes.
2024, by the end of 2024. And as part of it, one of the measurable goals will be maybe I want to eat more fruits or more vegetables, or I want to lose a certain amount of,
Wait.
pounds.
Yeah.
So that is number one. So let's take some of these and try, because I think that will help me a lot. Maybe not everybody, but for me, it will help me to go back and look at my goals differently and write them differently so I can deliver on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, right, we set a goal, we set business goals as a family, like my husband and I. Like again, he's my biggest accountability partner, right? So he would say, okay, so for you emerge, which is the coaching side, right?
Yeah.
What is your goal for this year? Say last year you made this in profits. What is the goal for this year? And but we look at it from a different perspective, as in what industries are you trying to impact this year?
Okay.
What that means is that I need new clients,
Mm,
right? And new clients equals more profit.
right.
So we shape it in the sense that I'm looking at it from an impactful standpoint. Who am I going to impact? I need to increase my reach, not
Mhm.
necessarily I'm trying to make money. Right? That
Right.
would be the measurable, but my specific would be increasing my reach.
Mm,
And within increasing my reach, that's where, okay, the profits come into play. That's where getting new clients come into play. How are you going to get the new clients? What industry? Because I have corporate, I have government, I have education. All these things are different areas where I, as a business person, can, tap into. But then
mm,
you also have to be realistic about the fact that for me, my corporate clients are the most lucrative, right? For me as a business. But then I also like working with individuals because I see the difference happening real time.
right.
So you have to strike a balance. So for business, it's not always the bottom line,
Mm,
it's the people, it's how you impact. And that in effect would actually help your bottom line,
mm,
because when you're doing that, then word of mouth. Because for me, a lot of my clients came as a result of word of mouth, you know.
right.
And for me as well, a lot of my clients came, some of them came out of me just saying, I want to work with this company. And I just pick up a phone call and then I just call and say, hey, you guys in need of this for your team or whatever it is, So in the business aspect, that could be it. Now, whereby, let's say education, you're a student, right,
Mm,
is concerned, and you want to be, you say, I want to be a better student this year. Maybe
right.
instead of saying I want to be a better student this year, you can say I want to be committed to all my classes,
Right.
right?
Wow.
So it's just how you phrase it, you know
Mm,
the way you phrase it, might, it would actually also make you feel good.
yeah.
you know, when you look at it from a bigger picture. And in all of this, right, for whatever your specific goal is, I say have daily affirmations, right? Towards
Mm,
that. You know,
love
it's
that.
you pumping yourself up. You know, it doesn't have to be something out of the ordinary. Again, I'm all about being simple, but
Simple.
have daily affirmations. So instead of daily check-ins, did I do this? Did I do this? Make it daily affirmations.
I
You
love
So yeah.
daily affirmations. That is awesome. I told you there's something we are all going to pick up today as we are talking about these, realistic goals, keeping it simple. If you don't take anything out of this conversation, is go back to your goals, check them. Or if you haven't written them yet, think about them. Are they realistic? Are they simple enough? Are they broken down? Of course, have the big overarching goal that you're looking at, but how simple are they so that you can reach them this year? And I love the daily affirmation. So let's do a daily affirmation on my ability to live a healthy lifestyle. Today, I am the example, right? A
Mhm.
healthy lifestyle to this year. So how do I come up with my daily affirmations? Because someone is thinking, this is the first time I'm hearing about this affirmations. So walk us through an example.
So this is you trying to live a healthy lifestyle, right?
Correct. Yes.
If you ask me, right,
Hmm.
and I'm a Christian through and through,
Right.
I would, in the morning, I would look at myself and say, my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit.
Mhm.
Another morning, I can look at myself and say, I'm going to treat you right. I'm talking to me.
Wow.
I'm going to treat you right. Just last week, I was telling my husband, I was like, you need to write a letter to yourself, right? Apologizing for maybe not feeding yourself well, apologizing for not putting yourself first, right?
Oh
And
my
within
goodness.
that letter, you would pick up different affirmations that you can use, And I've
Mm.
done that before where I legit wrote a letter to myself.
Letters to myself, to my younger self. We have a book by Abba and Zoe put
Yes,
together as letters of hope to your younger self. This one is letters that you're writing to your daily self, right?
yes,
So
yes.
daily you're telling yourself something. And I believe that conditions you even to do what you set out to do. So
Yep.
if you said, okay, my goal this year is to be a better steward of my money,
Mhm.
so I'm going to not just spend all the money and use credit cards and be in debt all the time. This year, I'm going to have my emergency fund built up for 6 months, at least 6 months.
Mhm.
That is something that I want to work on. And then every morning, every day, you're telling yourself, I'm a good steward. I
Yep.
use my money correctly. I am accountable. That
Yep.
is awesome. I
Yeah. You see, the thing is, you need to be comfortable with yourself, right?
love.
Including what your weaknesses are. A lot of
Yeah.
times we're not honest with ourselves about our weaknesses, right?
Mm,
I can tell myself, listen, Sylvia, yesterday, I really apologize for what happened yesterday because I didn't live up to my full potential within the situation that happened. I'm committing to you today to do better. It's short and sweet, but
right.
I'm apologizing to myself for not doing what I said I was going to do, or maybe I let someone talk over me, or I let someone make me feel down, and I let it get to me, right? So I
Mhm.
apologize to myself because I'm not feeding myself positivity if I let someone's words bring me down or someone's words affect me. So I apologize to myself and then
Wow.
I move on, you know. So honesty with your own self is key. And that's something that
Mm.
a lot of us struggle with.
Of course, of course. I mean, Dr. V said that we can even put sticky notes
Yep.
and paste them on our bathroom mirrors, our fridge, just to remind us.
Oh
Remind
yeah,
us.
she's very right on that.
Yeah. And that is also a good practice. So if you're thinking maybe I'll forget to do my daily affirmations, write it down, paste it somewhere you can see it. And that is a good, reminder of what you have, you want to do in the day. But I think keep it simple.
Yeah,
You said something at the beginning that sometimes because we think they're simple, we don't do them.
that's
You know,
very true. You know,
how do we work around that?
see, let me give you an example. It's a little off example. My daughter, right? She's
Yeah.
a very smart girl, very bright. But when something is simple, She tends not to be, too into it. So she had her first C, right, in a class.
Mm.
And I was like, well, what happened here? She said the class was too easy. I said, well, if the class is too easy, shouldn't that mean that it has to be
You
an
get
A?
it?
But because it was easy, she procrastinated a lot and was like, oh, I'll get to it. Oh, I'll get to it. And then, boom, it's grading time. That's where the simplicity comes in. We think it's so simple
Yeah.
that, yeah, that's not even gonna, no, I'm not, what, whatever. Then you go looking for the big one.
Mm.
Sometimes the little rocks are
Yeah.
key. See, the
Yeah.
little rocks, you pile them onto each other, then they become the big rock.
Yeah.
So you really have to start simple, you
Mm.
know, and simple could be maybe I can do 1 day a week in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
That's simple.
It's simple.
you know, at least you're moving.
At least you're moving.
But to start all gung ho, I'm going to do 7 days a
Push-ups,
week.
100 push-ups,
Girl,
and
I don't know how to run and I don't know how to do push ups. So I'm not going to do that to myself.
and I
you
like
know,
the fact that you said that someone else's thing that is worked for them may not necessarily work for
no,
you. And
no.
that's why you have to tailor things to yourself. Tailor it to yourself, pace yourself, make sure that you can adapt. Like, if what all the things that Sylvia is saying, I can relate. I'm just going to try them out. I'm not going to beat myself with it. If it doesn't work, I'm not going to worry myself. I'm going to change it to what works for me. Maybe
That's it.
15 minutes is not going to do it for me. Maybe 30 minutes works better. Maybe for me, I do 7 minutes exercise every day. 7 minutes.
And that's okay.
That's okay. Right. The day I get, into the craziness of it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do more. But intentionally, 7 minutes. It's a 7-minute app that I have. But what is done over the few months is to get me into that frame of, mind that I have to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not too much of a time to
It's not too
invest.
much. And even if you decide to do 30 minutes, right? Guess what? You can break down the 30. And there's no rule, hard and fast rule that says the 30 minutes has to be at one go. You can
Right.
do 10 minutes here in the morning.
Mm.
Lunchtime, you can do another 10. Midday, you can do another 10. Evening, you do another 10. Like you can really place it any way you want to. But I think we are fashioned in such a way that when I think 30 minutes, it has to be done
At
right there
once.
and then. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the struggle that a lot of people have. I mean,
Mm.
what I would also say is that don't be scared to go back, and adapt and rearrange. So I call it like with your measurables, right? If you're using the SMART acronym, your measurables, you can always go back to it, right?
Mm.
You can always reevaluate it, you can always like reshape it. And then because if what you have is not working, right? No one has a gun to your head. This is about you and you alone. You're in competition with just your own self, right?
Right.
So if it's not working, if I say I'm going to lose 30 pounds and that's not working, guess what? Okay, you know what? Maybe, maybe I need to say I'm going to lose 15 pounds. I love to drink a lot of Coca Cola. Like everybody knows that about me. I know it's bad for me. Yes, I do know it's bad for me. I might need therapy for that, but that's okay, right? I get to a point where I'm like, I am not drinking any soda. Well, guess what? After a while, I'm like, why am I doing that to myself? Okay, I'm going to commit to drinking maybe one. I used to drink a lot, right?
Right.
One a day. Then I started, I was like, okay, 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 I can do this. I can do this. Then I stopped and I was doing maybe 3 a week.
Wow.
Then now I'm down to 2 a week. So with the 2 a week, when you go into a refrigerator, right? I have the 2 bottles in there. One might be only like a quarter. I'm just look. I just need the taste. You know what I mean? I just need the taste of the Coca Cola. So if I'm saying 2 a week, I spread it. Those 2 bottles, I spread it out for the rest of the week. So each day
Wow.
I might be able to taste some Coca Cola. That's
Wow.
me. That's
Wow.
my struggle. But I've made it such that it works out for me.
Mm. Mm.
So
You know,
always go back. You can always go back and reevaluate. Oh, don't think that because you said this is your goal in the beginning of the year, it is set in stone.
Mm.
You know how churches, when they're doing appeal for funds for church buildings, they have this big old thermometer thing that they shade and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one this year. I said, Justice, that's what we're going to do whereby profits are concerned for the business.
Wow.
What if it's not working? I'm going to erase something. Okay, I have my goal, but I would, if I go up here, I'm like, okay, and let's say I get to say 20,000 and I end up using 5,000 of that money, I will go and I'll erase.
Mm.
So you have to make it fun. Don't
Mm-hmm.
make it too strict. Don't make it such that you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to be better. And like we said in the beginning, we're not perfect, right? We're all striving to be perfect. You're perfect in your own way. In different areas of your life, you're perfect, but you're not perfect in everything. So if it's an area that you struggle with, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Don't put too much pressure on yourself. That in itself will stress you out.
Yeah. 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 I mean, that is such a great tip. Just being able to, it's your goal after all. It's yours. So just making sure that it works at the
Yeah,
end of the year is really what the goal is. Whatever goal, whether it's financially, spiritually, whatever you choose, just making sure that at the end of the year you are able to hit that goal. And yes, if it's too big and lofty, scale it down a bit.
yeah,
It's
scale it
okay.
down. Scale it
That's
down.
okay.
Mhm.
Sylvia, we have this offer that we give to immigrants and people who are interested. Is a Google certificate online. We
Mhm.
have project management. We have, different, amazing skill set that you can develop. But the challenge with it is that it's a self-led, course. So you have to take it by yourself. There's no instructor that is going to call you every day. And, so a lot of people end up, dropping out or not completing the course and not getting the full benefit of it. So I wanted to get this, your thoughts on how do we use a smart, goal setup to get a population that we are looking at to be able to get into the course, pace himself, and then finish the course.
See, right off the bat, when you started talking, right,
Yeah.
you said a few things that I'm like, okay, this is a great idea, right?
Yeah.
But maybe you use smart to let the people who have registered understand the goal of what it is that you're doing and how it
Mhm.
will benefit them. So let's say when they sign up, right, you
Yeah.
have you're saying it's self-taught, right? You
Right.
go at your own pace, but maybe in the beginning you have orientation where
Okay.
you have everyone come in.
Mm.
Then you tell them the goal, you tell them the benefits of what it is, what it can do, and you give them some testimonials. So then you're
Mhm.
giving them a great picture
Right.
of what it is that you have.
Wow.
So when your goal for it, right? Your
Mhm.
smart goal for it would have the individuals who have signed up in there, right? So when you talk about measurable, right, or
Right.
you talk about realistic, or you talk about achievable, you have it in there, right? That
Mhm.
to maybe to make sure that each individual is able to equip themselves with this certification so that it would get them to a better lifestyle, right?
Right.
If
Right.
that's something that you have as a measurable and achievable, and the person who has registered is hearing you,
Mhm.
they know where your heart is. They know what you want for them,
Right.
and then you also have them actually do a smart for themselves as to why they're here. Because
Mhm.
sometimes when you're writing things, then you're seeing it, oh my God, write the vision and make it plain. If
Mm.
you There's something about writing stuff that
Mhm.
sticks to your head. You're seeing the things on paper. It's like the words are jumping out at you.
Right.
Versus you hearing it, you're seeing the words jumping out at you. Like when I do workshops, right? And sometimes I have I have people my attendants or my clients do a SWOT analysis, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for them to do a SWOT because they've not thought about themselves in that way.
Right.
So it's hard. Some people are good at it where they already know all of that about themselves. Others don't, so it's hard for them. But at the end of the day, they're like, wow, okay, okay, you have to be realistic about this. And so then they're seeing things about themselves that they really never thought of, sat to think
Mhm.
about themselves. So if you have them do a smart about why they want to take this course, then it will let them know right off the bat if this is what I want to do, or this is what I don't want to do. So that's what I would say.
I love that. You said SWOT analysis. I
Yes.
know that
So
one, but I
um,
think you should spell out the acronym so
so
that for those
SWOT
who
is
are for the
S
first time. Okay.
SWOT.
Mm-hmm.
So your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats. I mean, I used SWOT when I was in college, like with architecture. We do a SWOT analysis when you go, say, downtown rehab. You're doing a SWOT on the whole neighborhood to see what would be best, or what buildings would be best to place where. And when I started coaching, I was like, you know what? That's actually interesting.
It is.
So I ended up doing a SWOT on myself.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of opened my eyes. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to put it as part of my program, and
Yeah.
then, when I'm doing my program, in some places I do that. And then it's really interesting to see people and how they, and then sometimes if it's a close, say, three people and they
Mm,
know each other, I would have your friend or whoever your colleague is do a SWOT on you as well. So you see how that person sees you.
mm. Amazing. So that is such a great tip. So on the last Saturday of April, which will be the 27th, we are having a workshop. And that is one of the things that we are going to do. We're going to combine both the SWOT and the
Smart.
SMART goals. And we
Mhm.
are going to put it together. And we're going to look at our book that we are using for this month of January, even though we'll change it over the course of the 3 months. This one will be pivotal to the workshop that is coming up in April. And it's going to be success is a choice. So we're going to see how your choices you've made in the first quarter, which is January, February, March, how is that working, and how tailoring that to the things that you really set out to do this year. So look out for that. It's going to come. You have to register for it. We have to go find Sylvia to come help us on that one.
No
But
problem.
that will be a great time to come back and even do a SWOT on yourself, or
Yeah.
the things that you've put down, to see where are your strengths, where are your weaknesses, where are opportunities that you have, where are some of the threats, and
Right.
how do you navigate that?
Because
You know,
sometimes even when you go for an interview and they ask you what your strengths are, right? We give generic answers.
I
Or
know.
what are your weaknesses? We give generic answers. But sometimes during those interviews, you have to really, I mean, you're not going, you have to give one that is, borderline okay, right? You're
Yeah.
not trying to have someone not hire you, but that should get you thinking, let me think about myself.
Mm-hmm.
What are my weaknesses? You
Mm.
know, wow, what are things that I can work on? And there are things. A threat is something that is a habit that you have that could actually be detrimental to you, right?
Absolutely.
But you have to be honest with yourself. I'm a
Mm-mm.
very impatient person. That's a threat for me. So you really have to. And when you're doing a threat, if you cannot be honest, don't even bother.
Mm.
You
Mm.
know, because if you're honest, it means you won't change.
Right.
If you're not honest, well, then it's a moot point.
Amazing. Well, thank you all for joining. Rosemary, good to see you. I said I did acknowledge Gifty, Margaret, you're on there. Everyone who has joined so far. So mark your calendar. We have to get this workshop together. And it's not going to be streamed on Facebook. It will be on either a Zoom or something like that, that we can get to talk a little bit more, personally about things that we are, working on, and make sure that we evaluate ourselves first quarter of the year and continue the journey for the rest of the year. Hello, Teddy. Good to see you. Well, so we're getting up almost at the top of the hour,
Yes, we
time
are.
flies.
Right.
But
When you're having great conversation, time flies.
I know, great conversations. But what are some of the, things that we should take away, advice, or, hi Sheila, advice that you will give us as we wrap up this conversation and we go on our way trying to get you back to facilitate with us for this workshop. What are some of the things that you'd like us to go think about or implement?
See, the first thing that I would say, which I always tell people, is simplicity is key.
Yes.
You know, I can't, I really can't stress that
Mm,
enough, you
mm,
know. And it's not even just with your goals, it's in every facet of your life. You know,
keep it
simplicity
simple.
really is key. And give yourself grace,
Wow.
because you understand that you're not perfect, and understand that nobody is perfect. Understand that
Mm,
you're not excuse me, you're not in competition with anybody but your own self. So allow yourself grace. You
yeah.
would make mistakes, you will fall, but the key is not staying down, right?
Mm,
If you look at your goals and you're like, man, I'm not getting there, don't beat yourself up about it. Go back to the drawing board, right? And reevaluate, re-examine, and reset. It's okay to do that, you
yeah.
know, because you're trying to better yourself. And the
Mhm,
last thing I would say is make sure you celebrate all your wins, however little your wins are.
mhm,
Celebrate it, have fun with it. I know for a fact, with you emerge coaching, for every new client that I get, listen, I take my family out. I'm like, I'm treating you guys, you know. But
yeah.
and then the kids, oh, mommy, are you getting a new client soon? Because they know that when I get a new client, we're going out, like you know. So I really think that we need to be light about it, you know, and not all stressed and giving ourselves pressure. You give
Mm,
yourself pressure when you're looking at other people, but when you're focused and you're looking ahead and you
yeah.
know that you're trying to better yourself, you stay on track and you stay the course and you celebrate the wins, however small, even if it's 1 pound that you lost, right? Guess what?
No win.
1 pound that you didn't like before that you didn't have, you know. So you've lost that 1 pound. Celebrate it with something healthy, not something that will get you right back.
Getting the 1 pound back.
Right, right, you know. But I really think that even if, like, for me, one time I said I was going to every day I was going to read the Bible. Listen, I had to end up getting Bible Gateway on my phone. That was how I
Mhm,
was able to, because the physical Bible was too much for me. So I had Bible Gateway. You have to
mhm,
set realistic goals. And in setting the realistic goals, you celebrate your wins, you know. And look, if
amazing.
you can find an accountability partner, do that. Okay. No man is an island. And like
No.
I said, we're better together. So that's the advice that I have.
Oh, Sylvia, I don't want the time to end, but our time is ended, right? But thank you all for coming. And Sylvia, thank you for showing up and just pouring into us today. We're going to plan the workshop. It's not going to be aired on Facebook, so you have to register for it. It's going to be free, but you have to register for it and be part of it. So keep an eye out there. We'll post it very soon. And then we'll start working and get on everybody's calendar that has to be there to be able to help us to continue this year's journey. We are determined this year to be successful.
Yeah.
We are praying and we are putting the effort in there so we'll be successful. So next week we are going to talk to another gentleman who has his own business as well and really helps clients to focus now on the goals that we have, focus on taking it to the very end. Isn't that going to be
Nice.
awesome?
Nice.
And then we'll have the last Saturday of this month. We're going to have Pastor Annette join us with the vision board and
Oh,
professional growth. Oh, yes.
nice.
So if you haven't done your vision board yet, don't panic. You still have time. Even if you have, you still have time to tweak a few things after you hear her speak.
It's a
So
lot of fun. It's a
it
vision
will
board is a lot. I've been to a workshop where someone was doing a vision. It's a lot of fun. So your
be.
audience will love it.
Yeah. So I am excited. I'm thrilled. There's just so much, that people are ready to help us with. And I hope that you find these conversations, meaningful and you start implementing them because I am all about just do it. Don't just hear it, put it on the shelf, hear it, put it on the shelf. Just try one thing. Even if it's just a little thing at a time, that's okay. Just try it and see how it goes and keep moving on. But by all means, like I posted last yesterday, we posted on the Martin Luther King holiday coming up. He says that if you cannot walk, crawl. If you cannot run, you walk. But by all means, keep moving. I hope you keep moving until we come together again next week. Have a great rest of your Saturday evening, afternoon, whichever place you're joining us from. And thank you again. Thank
Thank
you,
you
Sylvia.
guys for joining in.
All right. Bye.